Guys, thanks for connecting for today's video in which we are going to have a demo session of the real IELTS speaking exam experience. What can be the ideal length of the test, what different type of question the examiner asks, how the student should respond to those questions, what should be the appropriate answers, what should be the appropriate length of the answers. This is what you are going to observe in today's video. One thing I must tell you that you should be well aware of the four parameters of the IELTS speaking test on the basis of which the examiner tests you. Do read these four parameters. They are right in front of you, and I warn you to watch the complete video and at the end evaluate the students on the basis of these four parameters and mention in the comment section what band she can expect in the real exam. So without wasting time, I'm going to start the test. KOmal is right in front of me, and I am bypassing the procedure of checking the passports and all that. So my first question to you is, can you tell me your full name, please?
Yes, of course. My name is KOmal.
And it must be as it is in the passport. If you have your surname mentioned in the passport, do not forget to tell it to the examiner. What shall I call you?
You can call me KOmal.
Okay, and you may call me by my first name KOmal. As most people call me KOmal, you may also call me KOmal. So this is appropriate. Tell me about the countryside outside the area or the city you live.
As I live in a countryside, so there I see a border area, and I am able to know about the other countries and able to know about the experience which they have.
Okay, it depends where she lives. She already lives in a countryside and she comes from a border area, so she can see the frontier. Is it the India and Pakistan?
Yes.
Okay. Well, ये जो talks मैं आपके साथ कर रहा हूँ, examiner आपके साथ ऐसे ही interact नहीं करता. I'm just highlighting few of the features in her answers, but it is going to be a continuous talk or a dialogue between the examiner and the examinee. Would you like to live in countryside or city in future?
In future, I would love to live in a city, as there are better job opportunities are there, and we are able to get better facilities. But also in the countryside, there is a peaceful nature. But still, I would love to go to the city.
Okay. Why do some people move to city from a rural area?
Some people move from city from rural area because they want to get better job opportunities and better facilities which we are not able to get in the rural areas.
That's true. Do you know somebody who has done so?
Yes, of course. In my neighborhood, my uncle is there who travel to the city just for better job opportunity, as he is a professional and career conscious.
That's true. Do you enjoy visiting large cities or small cities?
I love to visit small cities, as I came to know about so many things and the facilities which there are, and we can get about that.
So now I will ask you a few questions related to reading newspapers or magazines, right? Which magazine or newspaper do you read?
Actually, in my locality, local newspapers are there, so I prefer to read those local newspapers, and in my home, the Tribune is coming, so I read that.
Okay. What kind of articles you are most interested to read in newspaper?
I am most interested to read medicinal articles and also health related. And other than this, I love to see the sports article, as with the help of that I am able to know about the current matches which are being performed in our country.
Have you ever read a magazine in a foreign language?
Yes, I have read a magazine in the foreign language. In my schooling time, I used to read the magazine in the library.
Okay. And do you think it is a good way to improve or learn a foreign language?
Yes, it is a very good way to improve our foreign language because if we read those kind of articles, we are able to know about the vocabulary and other essential things which are required to learn any language.
Okay, that's interesting to know. Moving on to part 2 of this test, I'll give you a cue card in 1 minute to prepare your answer, and then you have to deliver a speech for 1 to 2 minutes, and your 1 minute preparation time for this cue card, which is talk about a situation when you laughed at a wrong time, starts now. The cues are when was it, where was it, why did you laugh, and why it was a wrong moment. IELTS Speaking Booster is your key to success in the IELTS Speaking Test. आपको इंट्रो, क्यू कार्ड्स, फॉलो अप सब कुछ मिलता है बैंड 8 लेवल तक का, बिल्कुल सॉल्व इन IELTS Speaking Booster. एक बार पेमेंट कीजिए, अगले 6 मंथ्स तक के लिए अपने लिए कर लीजिए अनलॉक, एंड एब्सोल्युटली फ्री अपडेट्स आपके पास आते रहेंगे और आपको किसी और स्टडी मटेरियल की तरफ देखने की भी ज़रूरत नहीं है. आज ही चेकआउट कीजिए, फॉलो कीजिए इसी लिंक को एंड डाउनलोड द एप्लीकेशन. Your 1 minute preparation time is over. Could you please start your answer?
Well, laughter is a blessing, but when it comes at the wrong time, it can also become a curse. Now, I would like to share my experience when I was in 8th grade, and at that time, we enjoyed a lot in the classroom. But once, when it was before the maths period, my friend named Simran cracked a joke, and it was so hilarious. And after listening that, I laughed hysterically, and somehow I controlled my laugh. But when teacher entered, and she was quite angry on us as last day there was our test, and in that we all the whole class had performed very bad, and approximately all the students had got very bad marks. And when she take my name and said that I have got 0 marks, at that time she scolded me, and even at the time the same joke reminded me, and I started laughing loudly, and as the whole class was silent, so at that time she noticed me, and she started scolding me, and I feel quite embarrassed as she punished me. And after that, when she scolded me a lot, my friends who cracked the joke, she also started laughing, and I felt quite embarrassed on this whole situation. And this was the time when I felt very bad, and after that I started thinking that from today onwards I'll never commit this kind of mistake and never laugh at such kind of jokes and those situations. And this was the time when I laughed at wrong mistake, wrong timing, and this is the time.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you very much. And do you still remember that incident?
Yes, of course.
Okay, let me ask you a few more questions related to the similar topic. Is laughing good for our health?
Yes, of course, laughing is good for our health as it is a stress buster activity, and also when we feel uneasy at that time, if we see some kind of jokes, and that time we can feel relaxed and happy.
Okay. Why do people laugh less these days?
These days, as the people are overwhelmed with their works and are always indulged in those kind of activities, so they don't get any time to spend on other stress booster activities, and they don't laugh much.
Okay. And do you agree that people in past used to laugh more?
Yes, in earlier times, people spend their times with their relatives and other persons who are in their locality, and they spend quality time with them and laughed, and due to this they remained healthy and live a prosperous life.
Do you laugh at all type of jokes?
No, not at all type of jokes. Some jokes are not that much funny, so at that jokes I don't laugh, and the jokes which are just linked to our day-to-day life, at the jokes I laugh much.
Okay, and do you think that jokes are difficult to translate into other languages?
Yes, of course, some jokes are there which are very much funny in our language, but when we translate it into other language, at that time we feel difficult to understand it and find a sense of humor in that. So it is very difficult to translate it into other language.
Okay, and my last question to you is, can humor be useful in learning something or especially learning another language?
Yes, indeed. Humor is a very good thing to learn any other language, as it helps to create interest in that particular field or particular language, and if we feel interesting in that, so then we can easily come to know about different things.
Can you give an example here?
For example, if I take my example, when I was in approximately in 10th standard, at that time I started learning French jokes, and with the help of that I was able to know about the French language very easily, and also know about the vocabulary and other sentences, and nowadays I am able to frame the sentences in that language.
Fantastic. And this is the end of the test, and thanks for being here. And you all saw how she performed. In fact, you all watched how she performed, and now is the time for you to share in the comment section what band score she can expect in the real exam. And you said you started to learn French, right? Did you actually? Yes or no?
Yes.
So you
yes.
know French?
Not to much extent, but still
Okay,
I am
comment ça
learning
va?
that.
Comment ça va?
I'm not that much.
But this is just how are you? Comment ça va? Ça va bien. Even if you said yes, it's fine. Otherwise, in IELTS, you can come up with all the bluffs on your mind. You say whatever you wish to, but the answers have to be fluent. It's not necessary that everything you say is true to the facts. I hope you learned a lot with this short session. Thank you very much for connecting. Bye bye for now, and thanks for coming.